Hello everyone! This challenge is a bit unique. It's not directly related to WordPress, nor is it something that you can finish within an hour or so. This is more of a big picture next step, or I guess we could call it a career challenge. But nevertheless, I am challenging you to learn a modern JavaScript library or framework. Throughout this course, we used the jQuery library for all of our front-end JavaScript code. Now, while it's true that jQuery is a library, it's no longer the cool kid on the block, and most people would not consider it an ultra-modern library. So if you want to become as valuable as possible as a developer, and you want to have a skill set that's going to attract all sorts of opportunities into your life, I really want to point you in the direction of learning a more modern, albeit opinionated, library or framework. Now that word opinionated is key here, because you might be scratching your head and saying, Brad, if jQuery is not super modern and super trendy, why did you bother teaching it to us in this course? Well, the answer is simple. jQuery is the least opinionated solution. I'm not saying it's not opinionated at all, just that it's way less opinionated than the modern trending libraries I'm about to show you in just a moment from now. What I mean by this is jQuery doesn't really have an all-encompassing philosophy or way of looking at the world. jQuery is really just an abstraction layer of regular JavaScript that makes it easier to interact with the DOM. And this is why I chose jQuery in this course, because I didn't want to force an opinion on you. Doing things the jQuery way is very similar to writing plain, regular JavaScript. Right? We were still doing everything manually, step by step, responding to click events, updating the HTML for an element, adding a class or removing a class, so on and so forth. We were making all of our own decisions and doing whatever we wanted. jQuery just made the code a little bit easier to write. An analogy I like to use is that jQuery is like a Swiss Army knife. It can do all sorts of different things, and it's very convenient. So, for example, if you were going to be stranded on an island and you could only take one tool with you, maybe you would take a Swiss Army knife. However, what if you were not going to be stuck on an island? What if you were in the middle of a field and someone gave you the task of digging a hole? In that case, it would be silly to choose the Swiss Army knife, right? Forget about that. Give me a shovel. I want to use the right tool for the job. So in situations where you've got really interactive user interfaces, where you are asynchronously receiving data from the server and then sending data back to the server and then needing to update your interface on the fly, if your website's got a lot of that going on, maybe it doesn't make sense to choose the less opinionated Swiss Army knife. Probably makes more sense to choose an opinionated shovel. And in this metaphor, there are really 3 shovels to choose from. The first is a library named React. The second is Angular. And the third is Vue. There are way more than just these 3, but almost everyone agrees these are the big, popular 3. Now, while jQuery was built to be able to do anything and everything, and its roots are from way back when the web was in a different place, these 3 libraries, React, Angular, and Vue, they were built from the ground up to power single-page applications. And they can really help keep your data in sync with what the user sees visually on the screen. So for example, remember when we built the My Notes feature on our WordPress site? We had that one single screen where you could view all of your notes, create a brand new note, edit a note, or delete a note. Well, that situation is practically begging for one of these solutions. But who am I to tell you which one to use? I feel like choosing one of these would be like telling you to root for either the Lakers or the Celtics, or that you should be a cat person or a dog person, right? I'm not going to force that opinion on you. So there's no right or wrong answer, but it's up to you to research these 3 solutions and see which one feels right to you. For the record, personally, I prefer React. And in the future, I plan on creating an entire course dedicated to learning React. It would really need its own course because these new frameworks like React and Angular and Vue, they are all fairly opinionated and have their own unique way of looking at the world. And it takes a good amount of time just to wrap your head around how to use one of these tools. But having said that, they would all pair very nicely with the WordPress backend. Anyways, that's going to bring this video to a close. In summary, I challenge you to learn more about one of the big three tools: React, Angular, or Vue. And not only will that bring this challenge video to a close, but that will bring this entire course to a close. If you made it this far, I want to give you a huge thank you and congratulations for working through the course. I know that it was a long journey and a big time investment, but I think the skills and knowledge that you have gained were definitely worth it. And I hope you feel the same. So until the next time we meet in a course, I wish you the best of luck and keep on coding.